Welcome, the Dweller of the Dark.
We are a channel honoring the yellowed and blackened bones of many prominent authors. We will be digging up several obscure, strange, and forgotten authors who influenced many of the great horror, science fiction, and fantasy writers today. Comment if you have an author you'd like to raise from the dead. Rip out the throat and eviscerate the like button below if a tale takes your soul. Raise the legions of hell by subscribing for more tales of the horrifying, obscure, strange, and forgotten. Our collection continues to climb out of the tombs. Unknown horror masters. The Skull and Bones collection is roaring away. Send us a pound of your writer's flesh to keep this beast fed. If you want to bring your own horrors to life, then find us on Fiverr to raise 7 kinds of hell. Check out our new books on Amazon, our podcast and websites, YouTube, Rumble, Apple, Anchor FM, Spotify, WordPress, Dweller of the Dark, Kindle Vella, several new stories coming soon. Children of Horror. Tonight, we draw Cutlass and Fang to let the blood fly for a special presentation. This one is dedicated to you, loyal fans. Or should I say, you bloodthirsty beast? Sink your teeth into a never-before-heard excerpt of The Devil of Black Bayou Special Edition. More hellish adventures in Crimson to follow in future episodes from that vampire pirate, Anton Valtaire. Fans, devilishly devoted to horror, may your souls always be. The Devil of Black Bayou by Jeffrey LeBlanc, Chapter 2. Within this eternal sepulcher, I awaken in rage. As I climb out of this infernal crypt onto the deck of a crumbling wooden ship, the anger still does not abate. On its cobwebbed, infested upper deck, I experience the past again. I hear her screams. I am in darkness. I hear her shrieks. I am unable to act. I hear her pleas, then silence. I sob in the lightning and darkness. A cool wind ripped from the Gulf of Mexico toward the oceans of marsh grasses that blanket the coastal estuaries of Louisiana. The grasses twisted, scratched, and swayed as ancient soldiers battling nature's constant antagonist. Beneath the grasses lie the inhabitants of the marsh, the crickets and grasshoppers, with their cousins the cockroach and marine worm, make their plight known in the torrent seas of wind and grass. The scream of a predatory owl alerts the inhabitants that danger is always near. The air danced through the grasses and waterways, guided by the changes in temperature between the land and sea. As its progress began to slow along a ridge of cypress and oak trees, a second gusting wind picked up momentum again along a twisting dark waterway. The waterway is linked to tales even older than I am. Legends of marauders, of wraiths, rougarou, and of pirates haunt these waterways. The ones that hold sway with me, even now though, were of the pirate Jean Lafitte and the Baratarians. Many would think that my story is of the famed Jean Lafitte or his brother Pierre. I will not bring that betrayer into our world. That I'm a conjured ghost of Jean Lafitte? Certainly not. Jean betrayed us for his pieces of 8. Betrayer though he was, I was once his friend. I will admit that complicity. Further, I concede that I was a captain in an armada during the zenith of Jean Lafitte's reign. Yes, you will be skeptical in my assertion Go to hell if you don't believe me. Let's illuminate the darkness a bit. Let's bring understanding. I've seen enough sadness, horror, and things that terrify men in the abyss of night to warrant an occasional jest. I may be the devil of Black Bayou, but it doesn't mean I was always this morose, morbid monster. The gale carries on, becoming a force bordering on hurricane velocity. It's as if God has sent out his minions to tear away the water and land to find something or someone in disobedience. The marine mammals swimming near the waterway find cover as they tremble and shake on adjacent ground made of vines, water lilies, and wood logs to escape the wind now. One creature, a small nutria, has moved inland through the twisted watery landscape and pokes its nose into a structure made of man. The structure is an old pirate ship, my eternal home, and the nutria with its childlike calls is as annoying as ever. The gusts have caused my ancient ship to creak and twist. Dust and all manner of unnameable debris spin in small, clustering cyclones on the deck. Down below, where I once stored slaves and contraband, I now house the devil's slave and humanity's enemy. My coffin, gilded in silver, now long since tarnished, is the centerpiece of this dark landscape. Always, this protective structure not only shielded me from sunlight, but announced if a threat was coming. Blows against its rugged structure from would-be assassins have for centuries alerted me. Not that I blame them. Their attacks were of merit. Damned creature I am! My ambition, without reasonable regard, brought certain tragedy. Her ghost, Marie's ghost, is back haunting my skull. I hear her screams. I am in darkness. I hear her shrieks. I am unable to act. I hear her pleas, then silence. I sob in the lightning and darkness. It was a desperate time when I made my bargain. I had to save my Marie. I had to. Was it so foolish a thing to trade soul for vengeance? Would a jester throw away his soul to save the love of their life? Of course not. You may ask, was I always destined for unspeakable monstrosities, even when I held the warm flesh of humanity? Being you, or who you admit to be, what did it profit Anton Valtaire to gain nothing, lose his wife and child, and forfeit his soul to all things whispered in the darkness? I would in reply say, weird questions for an enlightened man of science. I don't think simple yes or no retorts will suffice in giving you what you need. As in life, and in my life, black and white answers will not do. As you may already know from experience, life can sometimes lend itself to shades of gray. What can I answer for now? I am officially Anton Valtaire, a former captain in the pirate Lafitte's Navy. I was a young soldier during the Battle of New Orleans. I'll add I once was a loving husband and father. The apparition before you is a cursed creature. Take your pick of names on who damned me. Lucifer, Asmodeus, Behemoth, or Satan. Before your eyes you see the walking embodiment of the undead and scourge of all humanity. I feed on you and your kind, as the bull shark or great white would feed on you in their watery, haunted homes. Don't pity them or me for taking your life. Ah, darkness has arrived. Darkness, my courtesan, my mistress, is here. Hunger driven, I must feed, just as the sharks do. Blood, warm, congealed, or clotted, is my life. 100 years ago, I hunted the people here. 100 years ago, they still lived on these waterways, raised their children on them, and only went into large towns for the occasional needed item or illness. Isolation protected me. Isolation made my hunts a joy. Isolation kept me safe. Again, blood is the life. It's my tool to endure, my crimson talisman to see my beloved. Blood is my avatar to transcend time. Francis Marion Crawford and Bram Stoker got it right for once. I step out onto the rotten deck. I am not worried of falling in. My metamorphosis, light in body as misted wind, allows for levitation over such peril. I elevate above in full concentration. It is a challenge and bane of my existence to stay grounded sometimes. Levitating over rotten lumber and avoiding treacherous collapse is a child's game for me. I turn to tell my hapless would-be interviewer one more thing before I take off. Do you remember when I said I'd tell you my story, mon ami? I'm sorry. What was the name again? I show genuine interest in this grime-covered wretch. Nervously, the aged man says, "Yes, and my name is Duncan Duke. I'm glad you won't hurt me." Well, I believe I'll show you my life, rather than tell it. I see him puzzled as I say these words. Duncan moves his thinning hair and scratches an equally thin beard, contemplating exactly how we will record everything. "Oh, you'll take me along and document everything? I guess that'll work." No. I see bewilderment growing on his face in the darkness. "Oh, you'll give me the tale when you return? I hope I have enough battery in the recorder or phone." He still hasn't figured out my meaning. "No, but you'll experience every minute of my life, drop by drop." I smile with fangs out and eyes ablaze. Duncan screams in terror as I rip his throat to shreds, infecting him with my memories. Moving above mist and fog, I take note of the night. Out in that nighted paradise, nature assaults me with so many sights and sounds in my sojourn. Life moves and breathes in the mammals, the insects, the birds, and reptiles hiding from me. Death is there too, in the active smells of sulfurous swamp gases, rotten vegetation, and animal waste. All overwhelm me every time. Oh, with so much to discern, how I loathe my heightened abilities in these moments. Tonight is a different night for me. I don't know if it is the skeletal reflection of the moon on the ripples of Black Bayou, or the biting chill of the first cold front for the year. There is something significant I've forgotten. Anniversary, maybe? Or is it the date of something more profound? Hell, I don't even know the date or year anymore. What are dates to an immortal? And Why bother with anything more like culture or style? In this moment, I couldn't tell you the type of clothing people are wearing or the latest grooming. I hang on to a life gone and wear clothes befitting my age. I still have on the leathered pirate boots from my era when my heart still beat. Hair, beard, and skin fall into the same neglect. If you must know, my hair is long and coarse with the smell of my last meal. My skin, well, corpses have a better look. What has not changed is my curiosity and my love for Marie, long dead until I drink. She waits alone on a dismal shore somewhere in the beyond. On this night of nights, which still has eluded me in meaning, I'm a curious cat that needs to stretch his claws. Tonight, I just know I want to travel further than I have in a while. And dine on the best local cuisine. I levitate, guided by the wind, following a course parallel with Black Bayou. On the night breeze, I catch the smell, the fear of the animals in the darkness, the decay of rotting water hyacinths and creatures within and without the bramble. I also capture the fragrant smell of musk and charcoal from a distant fire. Following the roaring flames, I feel small pinpoints of cold along my exposed, marbled skin, highlighted now by the rising moon. Onward twisting and swaying as the willows lining the bayou, my body contorts, my haggard overcoat covering my lithe frame twist as the grasses and cattails along both sides of the winding silvery bayou. Writhing in and around those gray willows, I see an occasional raccoon and deer take caution and hide. Peering up at me, I'm sure they know I fly ever closer toward civilization. Closing the distance to perceived lights and movement, and at the apex of my flight, I see a couple of solitary camps. The lights I saw were the moon reflecting on their tin roofs, though one, by the sound of a voice cursing in French, appears to be occupied. This is a fortuitous moment, a ravenous moment to satiate hunger. My thirst must be abated now. It is time to feed. The house of my victim is light green, with a handmade railing attached to an old porch. The porch is enclosed with mosquito screening, and there is a set of steps leading to the front porch and a second set of steps leading to the back door. There are a couple of large windows with storm shutters on each. There is rustling and a curse or two in a flat French accent coming from within the home. Sounds to me like a gentleman who has banged his foot on the stove and then burnt his hand on a hot boiling pot. He carries the smell of a dying man. I hear the pause of his dying heart. I hear him dropping a vial of something he calls insulin. I hear him plead, "How much more of this, Lord?" Killing him will be a mercy. Sacre bleu, mon Dieu! I hear the man's cursing to go with his latest yells. The man's name, as I would come to know, is Jordan Travalier. Monsieur Travalier, for now, is a humble, squat, quiet man living north of Lost Lake and west of Cemetery Island. In his mid-50s, with leathered skin and an anchor tattoo on his right forearm. Jordan is transfixed on scratching his itching and chafed crotch. He sits in the camp alone and buries himself into his comedic television. I wonder if he would have seen the irony after tonight's events of the proximity of his camp to a cemetery and a haunted lake. You done been fed, cochon. You getting to be a fatty tabby. No, stop that. Damn to hell. That's my good sassafras petit menu. Jordan is fussing and complaining about his slightly heavy Siamese cat. Me, I'm ready to throw you to the damn coon me. Get out. Jordan gets up in a mad rush. He takes a broom to the tubby cat and throws a roll of paper towels, much to the screaming cat's dismay. Jordan walks to the living room of the small camp. He proceeds to sit down while still mumbling under his breath. Yeah, you knowed you done bad. I'm fâché for show me. You boudet to someone else. He is angry at his furry companion. It will take a few minutes to let his blood cool from the mess and tirade. He won't have that long. The barometer has begun to drop. Fish start to feed in the shallows of the camp, popping near grasses and weeds. Raindrops start and then stop, bitter and patter each drop on a board, then a ping off the roof. Drops grow in progression. Each drop increases to another drop, then another as they begin a steady stream. The fog grows heavy as the storm ensues. Bluish streaks of lightning border the coast, occasionally bringing illumination. Jordan is sitting in his soft green recliner, eating a bag of dill-flavored Zapp's potato chips. He's enjoying the salt, vinegar, and the growth of impending plaque in his vessels. As he crunches down on more oily chips, he's enjoying and laughing heartily at a television program displaying a 6'7" behemoth of a woman weighing an easy 400 pounds. The woman is throwing a little man around like a play toy. The giant woman's performance ends with her placing her large crotch and body on the little man's face. At this point, Jordan is in utter shock and more laughter. He hears a rustle and flapping on the roof. Monsieur Chevalier goes to turn off the TV and accidentally hits the Retro 50s station on the satellite dish network. Sam Cooke goes on singing, "Love You Most of All," from someplace where love shines on even after death. He hits the button again to listen to the strange noises that stopped his laughter. Listening with the ears of a seasoned hunter, Jordan initially dismisses it as birds. Then he cancels out branches or reddish-green cypress balls falling from the two ancient cypress trees growing all around his camp. Cypress balls falling from the damn trees have caused him more than a stir on quiet nights like these when the kids haven't come home to visit Papa. He hears the scratches of clawed feet. Large, clawed feet. They aren't raccoons. He knows raccoons, possums, and even the cursed coyotes don't make scratches that big. What the hell? Me, ya better know. I got a gun here, man. Not afraid, no, to use it. Jordan has dealt with trespassers and robbers before. Not often, but enough in the lawless wilderness of the Atchafalaya Basin. Y'all, get the hell out here. I want no trouble, me. He grabs the nearby loaded 36-inch barrel 12 gauge with 3.5-inch slugs already loaded in the chamber and 6 more in the illegal magazine. It's a formidable weapon. This is the gun he doesn't mess with ever. Silence in the room. Deathly, ghostly, powerful silence. Not even mosquitoes stir in the room. Not even the chirp of a cricket. He strains his ears in the quiet, but hears nothing more. Then the silence begins to cease as a slow, moving wave. Whistle, tweet, rasp, whistle, tweet, rasp, wheeze, whistle, rasp, tweet, rasp, wheeze, tweet. I'm distracting him and quickening his pulse. His heart rate thunders in my ears. Chevalier's heartbeat picks up pace. The air-conditioned camp is 65 degrees cold to ward off the muggy and humid 90-degree temperatures outside. Yet, despite the cold, he has drenched himself with perspiration. Saliva in his mouth has dried, and the palate is rough as sandpaper. Over 50 years in the marshes and swamp, hearing every sound conceivable from nature has never prepared him for this. These are not natural sounds. Echoing silence as the grave. Then after minutes that seem like hours, Chevalier hears more scratches and whispers that are the same rasping, whistling hum. Such unearthly sounds, such unnerving sounds to make his weak heart shudder, and such sounds of devilish unease. Whistle, tweet, rasp, whistle, tweet, rasp, wheeze, whistle, rasp, tweet, rasp, wheeze, tweet. Chevalier paces, fidgets with the safety on the shotgun, and has pissed his pants. I retch from the man passing onion-smelling gas while hearing the thunder of his heart. If I don't kill him now, his fear will tonight. I want no trouble, me. You go on your way now, bro. I say it again, you go now, and there won't be no bloodshed. The determined and tough voice of Jordan Chevalier is now shaky and trembling. Instinct tells Jordan something is out of place and to hide in the securest location and pray. His pride, built on a lifetime of adversity, won't let him cower and bend his knees in fear. More scratches, only they are louder now at the door. More sounds now growing in length and intensity. Whispers around him now and in the dark, quiet places of the camp, ushering him to the door. Jordan moves apprehensively to the door. Every nerve and every cell tells him to hide and grab the Bible and say a prayer. Something hides in those places where the childhood fears were vanquished by adulthood and daylight. The monster in the mist has returned. What will he do? Will he pull Jordan Chevalier into the darkness of the night, or just frighten him to death? Monsieur Chevalier has to know. He needs to know, for his rational mind is on the verge of unhinging. Jordan Chevalier, brave fisherman, enjoyer of the divine comedy and all things of humor, opens the creaking hardwood door. The night's fog glows in the blue and white threads around the squat, humble man. He feels the coolness of wet perspiration on damp, warm night air. The ammonia of his own urine is masked by the pungent, earthy smell of marshland surrounding the fog. Ha! Swoosh, rip, tear, rip! Jordan Chevalier is looking up into grayish moon when the attack occurs. Then a shadow blocks it, and he feels a pressure, then a pinch, and sees his own blood on the deck and floor of the camp. Rip, tear, rip! Splatters of Monsieur Chevalier's blood paint the areas around Jordan's camp. Pools of crimson leak toward the floor and out onto the deck. Cypress knees and the walls of the camp have streaks and clots everywhere. In that moment, Jordan feels pain, hears crunching, and realizing more of his flesh is being ripped from his body. Another tearing slice, and Jordan sees his own guts and throat cartilage fall away into the trees and water. It's the last thing he sees as I feed on. I feed on in the fog. As it provides cover during the horrific moment, I satiate the thirst. There is the crunch and tear of more of Jordan's bone and flesh. Cartilage and intestines slide and flounder onto the dock, making thumps. Rain continues to pour, splashing on the blood accumulated on the deck and winding into the camp. Claws flash and talons glimmer in and out of the flowing formed mist. Maculations of crimson are everywhere. Blood hangs from the low-lying cypress trees. Blood is carried on the fog. Blood is sprayed out into woods and waterways of fluorescent green. I'm starting my journey across the waves of time. The blood is my time machine and my portal to the dimensions beyond. I see my loving raven-haired wife. She is bathed in the foam of sea spray and blood. Lightning flashes around us in arcs of blistering white. Lightning etches around us in emerald green. A final blast paints us in a shade of deep blue. In the moments between light and darkness, giant pincers have grasped Marie's flesh, pulling her below. A glowing mauve pool of slime remains. A single hand floats above the sea and then submerges into depths below. I float back to the present, lashing out at the night air. I wrestle with imaginary phantoms who lurk back into that accursed moment in time when my wife was lost to me. I curse and send a glass-breaking roar as I fight the ghost of an oozing leviathan who dissipates into mist. The beast I have sworn my soul to kill, the hellion of my nightmare, is always moments away from my killing grasp.